Hi guys, this is gsmo.com and I'm here with a bit of a swag box. It's not the pop-up box, but it's the box of the OnePlus 8 in a special press version. So it's much larger than usual, much larger than what we're used to, but it's got some nifty little extras. Okay, so let's open it and see what's inside. The phone was unveiled on April 14th. It's still rather fresh and starts from 699 euros. Once again, this is the OnePlus 8, not the Pro model. Okay, so we have a special manual here, or special artwork box. As you know, if you buy a video game or a music album, you usually get some artwork, and this is basically what we're being offered here, with the typical identity that involves a lot of red and a lot of white. We learn about the design, the triple camera, about the new dark theme 2.0, about Oxygen OS, the new version, the Warp Charge 30T, and so much more. 5G and Wi-Fi 6 also included. Okay, so I'm going to put this aside for now. And this is the actual box of the OnePlus 8, and we also get two extras. We got the OnePlus 8 nylon bumper case in black, and we got the OnePlus 8 sandstone bumper case in cyan, if you want some extra variety added to your life. If this were the pop-up box, you would have received the Bullets Wireless Z new generation of headphones, but we don't have that kind of clout and luck. This is the actual box that we're getting here, and we have the glacial green version, which is the green one, also 12 gigs and 256 gigabytes, so we're lucky that way. We have the version with more storage and more RAM. Okay, so it's time to get to the actual unboxing, and let me fix up the table just a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to remove this from here because it wasn't put here in the first place, and voila, now we can start fresh and clean. Now, unlike most boxes out there, this is rather long, typical for, well, a watch. Usually you see watches like this, and the phone itself is here. Never settle remains the motto of the company. First impression, it's a very light phone, perhaps lighter than expected, and believe me, I've called the Galaxy S20 a light phone, and even in comparison to that one, this feels on the light side. It's got a triple back camera, which has let down some people. It lacks IP68 certification, it lacks wireless charging and reverse charging, but it has a pretty solid screen from what I've heard, with 90 Hz refresh rate. Comes in this hue of green, which is close to frosted and matte, also black and a sort of white pink. Haven't seen a blue screen for the setup in a while now, a throwback to the Android maybe KitKat days. We get to the actual innards of the box. You find this hefty little thing here where there are the surprises. So get quite a few things. We got the EU contact for Europe. We got a bunch of stickers which you're going to place on your laptop, as you usually do with the from Apple. The SAR value, very important in these paranoid times related to health. Quick start guide, quite small writing. If you need glasses, now is the time to get them. Well, not now, after the pandemic. And then even more safety information. And this metal key used to access the slots. I'm talking about the SIM slots. There's no trace of a micro SD here. I think that's everything. Put this aside, and I'm going to leave this here for a more fancy decor. Okay, so there's that. Inside the box we find this case, which is transparent and flexible and has a cutout for the camera, and also it says never settle, the obsessively repeated motto of the company. And then we find the cable, which goes from USB-C to USB-A, and then we find the charger, the brand new charger, which is about twice as big as the one I have for my own OnePlus 6T. It's a 30 watt 30T charger, the Warp Charge 30T, that's the name, maybe a mouthful, it says it here, Warp Charge 30T. I expect great results from it, but it will be hard to top the chargers I've seen from Oppo this year on the Find X2. Time for the setup. We're agreeing to stuff right now. We're in the experience program, we're skipping stuff, and we're connecting to Wi-Fi in a jiffy. Okay, so the updates have started, and it's a good way of also starting to detail the phone. At the front you have glass, at the back you also have glass. They call it 3D Corning Gorilla. They don't specify the version. I'm guessing it's Gorilla Glass 5 or 6. In between them there is an aluminum frame with a thickness of 8 millimeters, and the whole thing weighs 180 grams, although to me it feels more like 160 grams if I'm being honest. Now, it doesn't have IP68 certification. They left that for the OnePlus 8 Pro, and we also have here a 6.55-inch screen of the AMOLED variety. They call it the fluid AMOLED display. 2400 over 1080 pixels, 90 Hz refresh rate, 20:9 aspect, and a cutout here for the selfie camera. Also embedded in the screen is a fingerprint scanner, and next up we got a Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 CPU accompanied by 8 or 12 GB of RAM. Be careful with that. It's LPDDR4X RAM, while the OnePlus 8 Pro has LPDDR5. Don't copy. Next up we got the storage, 128 or 256 GB of UFS 3.0. There's no trace of micro SD. We've gotten accustomed to that on the OnePlus phones. And there's also a 4300 mAh battery with 30 watt wired fast charge. No trace of wireless or reverse charging. We also get stereo speakers, and we also get 5G and Wi-Fi 6, as well as NFC and USB-C. I think we're about done, and this is Android 10 with Oxygen OS 10.5 on top of it. On the camera front, here we have a punch hole selfie camera, 16 megapixels, which from what I know is fixed focus, and it's not encouraging. Now on the back side, a bit of a disappointment, a triple camera with an LED flash, and the triple camera gets a macro 2 megapixel shooter, which actually nobody wanted. There's no telephoto camera, so you have a 48 megapixel main shooter with the same IMX586 sensor from last year, from the Zenfone 6, from the Xiaomi phones, from the OnePlus 7 Pro. It has optical image stabilization at least. And also 16 megapixel ultra wide camera. Once again, who asked for a 2 megapixel macro camera? Not me. Okay, so as far as I know, there should also be a laser focus mechanism here, and I don't want that. Let's go back. I actually enjoy the buttons more, but I'm going to get accustomed to the gestures, I promise. Okay, so Oxygen OS 10.5 on top of Android 10 brings forth some changes, like the dynamic wallpapers, like the dark mode in a new version, and also a variety of other things. There's a new Fnatic mode, there's also a new Zen mode, and other novelties. Let's go to the settings and check out the display, which has, as I said before, 90 Hz refresh rate. Got the video enhancer option here, got the advanced, and you can set the refresh. Interestingly, this one comes with 90 Hz by default. Most of the phones that offer this option comes with 60 Hz by default and leave you to switch to 90 Hz. Anyways, a more fluid scrolling. And this is the part of the review where we access our website, gsmdome.com, just so you know who you're talking to. Okay, and we're done. Now I would say that the bezels are quite narrow, but not as narrow as I've seen on other phones out there. For example, the Oppo Find X2 has narrower bezels. As usual, I'm going to get into the camera interface by pressing this, allowing some stuff here. And you can actually switch to 2x zoom, even though it's not telephoto, it's just digital, to ultra wide like this. We got a portrait feature. Got Nightscape, which has achieved a new version. Got a Pro mode with several tweaks to shutter, exposure, white balance, and so forth, ISO included. Okay, and also video with some cinematic novelty. We got Ultra Shot HDR and also a special cinematic mode. So as you can see here, there are two cine options, which are new to me. And also slow motion, as you can see there. Okay, slow motion again here, panorama, time-lapse, and I think that's about it. The first contact with the OnePlus 8, not the Pro, just the 8. We'll be back with a full review as soon as possible. So far, I feel that the camera is a bit of a letdown. The phone is very light, these are my two first impressions, and it's lacking the selling points of the Pro model, like the wireless charging, the IP68 certification, the new version of RAM, and well, the camera, of course. That's about it from gsmdome.com. We'll be back with a full review before you know it. Bye bye.